So today we're going to use the Suzuki Cello School Book 1, and from there we're going to go ahead and turn to page 6 and looking at exercises for a proper D-string posture. Again, you're going to want to make sure that you're on the edge of your chair. You're going to want to make sure that the heel of your cello is against your breastbone. Your knees are lightly touching the rear points on the back of the instrument, on the lower C-valves. And then thumb in between the back of the frog, ring finger on the dot, and drop everything else. Nice loose grip, but still holding it. And then we are just going to go ahead and start on the very first line. So, looking at this, again, the top string is the top line. The next string down, the D, is the middle line, which is what we're going to be playing. The bottom string, or the bottom line, is the third string, and we're not going to worry about the last one right now. Looking at this, the glorified C with 2 dots is, in fact, the bass clef. Fun fact, the cello can actually play in 4 of the standard clefs. It can play in bass, it can play in tenor, it can play in alto, and it can also play in soprano or treble clef. With all of that, it's one of the most flexible instruments in terms of where you can write for it on any given staff with any given clef. But there's a lot of things to pay attention to in that. So we're just playing in standard old bass clef here, and we're going to be playing on the open D, which is the second string. As you see there, we've got 4 16th notes, and then 2 8th notes, and then 2 quarter note rests. So with the time signature there being common time, which is 4/4, that means there's 4 beats per measure. Each of those groupings is going to be one entire beat. So looking there, we've got the 4 16th notes, which will be 4 subdivisions of 1 beat. Then there's 2 8th notes, which is going to be a beat subdivided into 2, and then there'll be 2 rests. So 1, 2, 3, 4, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. So that's what our pacing is going to be. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Make sure your bow is tight. Make sure your posture is probably at this point it's not going to be comfortable, but make sure that we have the basics there. And then we will go ahead and start. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so with that, we have run the very first line in Suzuki's first book on cello. And at the end, you will see you will see a repeat sign. That basically just means go back to the beginning or go back to the other end of the repeat sign. So we're going to go ahead and run through that once or twice, and then we can move on to the next line. So let's go ahead and play that one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And so looking at the next line, we have half as many measures, but we have the same groupings just back to back. There's no rests in between. So let's go ahead and give that one a shot. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that one more time, and then we can move on from there. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is the first basic lesson on this instrument. Moving forward from there, we see that there is, on the second one, exercises for changing strings, we see that we actually use two different strings. We use the D, which is where we started, and then we also incorporate the A, which is going to be the top line there. So let's go ahead and give that a look really quick. So same pacing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then following the same pattern that we've seen on the first exercise, the second line has the exact same spacing, but it has no rests to it. So instead of being 4 measures, it'll be 2, and then it'll be 1 to the other and then right back. So 1, 2, 3. From there, we've incorporated 2 of the strings. Now, it's going to be a little bit interesting because we're actually going to start incorporating fingers. Up until now, we've only been playing on open strings. And now we start incorporating other things into the mix. So, looking at the third exercise, we start on the open D, and we are starting to incorporate fingerings. From this, it is going to be a very simple open, and then open on the D, and then first finger incorporating an E. It runs in standard alphabet fashion, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then repeats back over at A. So anytime that you move past G, it just circles back to A. So starting at the first line for exercise for quick placement of fingers, we're going to start, and then we're going to put down the first finger. And then we're just going to go back and forth and then start building in that muscle memory, or finger memory in this case. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So, continuing the trend, we're going to go ahead and do the second line. And again, it's 2 measures instead of 4, but it moves quickly between open and first finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next step from there is going to be incorporating the rest of the normal fingers for a D major scale. On the cello, that would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And that's going to sound like. And then, looking at the third line for exercises for quick placement of fingers, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. So, having finished the basics to get you a little bit familiar with where fingers fit on here, we are going to start looking at the first full exercise, which is going to be Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We're going to go ahead and run, that's going to be on page 8. We are just going to run the first variation. So, keeping our same tempo. 1, 2, 3. So, one of the things that you'll notice is running the first, third, and fourth fingers is going to feel kind of awkward. You're going to want to make sure that you're not, as per like guitar maybe, running a bar. You're going to want a nice round feeling to your fingers, so you're coming down on top of the string, not clamping down on everything. One of the things to keep in mind is you're not holding a stack of papers, you're holding onto a water bottle. That's something that really helped me when I was initially getting started. So let's go ahead and try that one more time. And one of the big things that you'll find is it might not necessarily be in tune the first couple of times through, but going back to one of the other pieces that is very handy to have, the tuner, when you start practicing with a tuner and you start working through all of the notes, you can develop good pitch fairly quickly by looking at the note, knowing what it's supposed to be on the staff, knowing what it's supposed to be on here, and then attempting to get the note on the the tuner correct, just by placing your finger and being able to play an E or a G sharp or whatever it happens to be. So let's go ahead and try the beginning of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from there, and then we will go ahead and call it a day. So 1, 2, 3. And from there, we have the beginnings of getting started on this particular instrument.